I'm Bill Beverley, great to meet you all. I'm also one of the volunteering leaders at Climate Techies, so really happy to see a lot of your faces again. This is, I think, number 6 of Climate Techies, if I'm not wrong, Anthony, but we have a couple of events coming up again that we'll announce at the end of this as well that we're planning. But in my day job, I represent a company that's not too far away from here in Compton, Rancho Dominguez area, just up the hill, called Evolectric. And so what we do, I'd like to take a few minutes to just explain what we do and how we've gotten to where we're at with the support of some partners like Motive and Sunstone, for example, right? So what we are is we're an organization that takes existing diesel trucks, existing gas trucks, for example, really focusing on middle mile, medium duty trucks, and we convert them to 100% electric. So vehicles that have been depreciated after the first 5-10 years of their life, a lot of times are written off. They end up in secondary streamlines for sourcing, for fleets in Mexico, for example, or other regions. What we do is we focus on bringing life to those waste streams, bringing them back into the operation. And guess what? You can actually depreciate those vehicles all over again because they have brand new technologies. And why this is important is because we're aligned on offering our fleet owners and fleet customers the lowest cost but highest value that they can get out of a zero-emission vehicle. A lot of times what this ends up being is it's an operational expenditure change compared to a CapEx investment, right? So typically, a lot of times in this industry, you buy a big expensive truck, you write it off. Once you're done after 5 years, you sell it and you move on to the next technology. In this case, we can actually bring that cost out of the equation up front, and you can actually get the value of this on a more amortized and operational basis. So it lowers the cost of the vehicle, but it also is able to provide you with the utility you need to really do the things that you need to do. Speaking about cost, when we really look at what it takes to operate a vehicle in the fleet space, when you're talking about medium duty fleet, these are unknown numbers typically for fleet owners, especially smaller businesses. How much money am I actually spending on these vehicles over 10 years? When you start adding these numbers up, you're like, well, that's a lot of money. That's sometimes almost 4 times the cost of a brand new truck in our space, somewhere around $80,000 for a diesel. Once this becomes more evident and becomes more prevalent in their thought process, they start asking the questions, well, how do I lower those costs? What can I do to actually increase the efficiency of my operation and get a better bottom line? Because I don't know if anybody's in the transportation industry. Is anybody in logistics in this room? I know that the owner of this facility used to be in logistics. So a lot of their cost goes into just trying to figure out how to make the buck at the end of the month, right? Because it's such a vacillating business with tariffs, with impounds, or imports and things like that. So we offer our fleet owner customers at least a better understanding of how actually they can make money in this business. So like I said, we offer a faster, more affordable path towards electrification. We start with a class 4 and 5 truck. What those trucks are is typically anything that you see in like a U-Haul parking lot. So a box truck's a good example, a stake bed, sometimes a small tow truck, for example. And what we can do is we can take these existing trucks. We're starting with Isuzu because it's one of the most popular brands in the world. You probably saw one on the way in here. That's one of our trucks. It's got a utility bed on it. We can take these trucks and in a matter of about 2 weeks, convert that vehicle from its old life to a brand new vehicle, as-new vehicle, fully powered by electric and fully made intelligent with a lot of the data and analytics we put on the back end. We can do that with up to 45% lower cost up front because, again, you're starting with a depreciated asset. So that cost of that chassis, the cost of the components you start with, is much easier to acquire and get your hands on than starting with a brand new chassis that you also have to compete with when it comes to brand new vehicle manufacturers, right? We're in a completely different stream. We're focused on aftermarket. We're focused on service centers. We're focused on fleet owners' pain points, not brand new trucks. So we don't directly compete with an original equipment manufacturer who's just trying to put out new products on a year-to-year basis. Because of that as well, like I said, with a depreciated asset up front, we put in brand new components, but those brand new components are all electric. They have inherently lower operating costs when it comes to the factor of how much it takes to do the same effort. What that means is electric is just more efficient to do a lot of stop-and-go traffic, a lot of stop-and-go deliveries. So that translates into about 60% lower operating costs as well. All while combining an extended life and best-in-class reliability. We have a full warranty that we offer. And then we can also compete when it comes to a brand new vehicle by providing some of the fastest charging on market. In less than an hour, you can get a truck back on the road if you need to, but really it's optimized to charge overnight when the cost of power is the lowest anyway. So a little bit of, eye-watering specs here. We don't have to look at them directly, but essentially what we've started with, we're using tried and true powertrains and systems. Dana is a name that's been in this industry for many, many years. Probably half the cars in this place have something Dana on them. And then we also use battery packs that have some of the most energy-dense technologies in them, but have been road-proven. We don't put the brand new latest and greatest in there because guess what? Fleet owners don't care. They don't want a brand new vehicle made from scratch. Nobody has asked for that, I guarantee it. If you go do the work and you talk to a fleet owner, they're not going to be like, sure, I'll take this no-name brand made by a bunch of guys in their garage or whatever. It starts with, I don't want to change. How do I need to get into this market without changing anything that I'm doing? And so that's why we exist. We put these new technologies in something familiar. We capture the attention of the fleet owner and the driver, and we rapidly are able to bring them into a more favorable electrification journey and save them costs. So a little bit about the specs as well. So batteries, 5 years, 200,000 mile warranty. Powertrain, 3 years, 60,000. So industry-proven systems mean that we can provide industry-comparable warranties and extended warranty solutions. We also are able to extend that to financing and leasing. So if the upfront cost of the system, somewhere around 90 to 135,000 is too much for a fleet owner, we can actually finance that and provide them a month-to-month lease. So there's minimal excuses to get this technology in their hands and on the road. So we're really excited about something that's coming in later this year. It's called Gen 3 for us internally. It's obviously our third generation of development and iteration on the platform. What you saw out there is a preview of that. We were able to put a short wheelbase together, 132-inch wheelbase. It's the shortest wheelbase with the most energy in it of any vehicle in medium-duty space that's been electrified. So it's a testament of our team to be able to put that much energy in such a small package. And that allows us to put different configurations of bodies on that system. So street sweepers, utility bodies, boxes, stake beds, tow trucks, like I said before. And even some of the boxes that actually carry over the chassis, a lot of brand new manufacturers will take that space up on the side of the rails and put batteries in there. But that doesn't preserve the utility of this truck. This truck is all over the world. This truck is all over the world because Isuzu, for example, has made this product and has homologated it. That means made it eligible for delivery and operation in all markets. And we get to deposit our technology as an add-on to that existing chassis. So we get to maximize the potential of Isuzu's own work in this last 30 to 50 years. We're also expanding into class 6 and 7. That means bigger trucks. That's what the class really means, is how much more payload they can carry. We're targeting Freightliner because just like we chose Isuzu for class 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 are really dominated on a global scale by Freightliner. We're going to be continuing to extrapolate on the same powertrain systems that we have, raising up the power, raising up the capacity, because those trucks do more work for the same effort. And then we continue to extend the battery and powertrain warranties that we know and love. The other thing that a lot of people always ask us is, when are you going to do a Ford? When are you going to do you name it, a Kenworth, for example? Those are all on the list. We're going to start with the ones that are most popular in the world first, because we're not just going to expand in the United States, but we're already expanding in Mexico. We're looking at Colombia. We're looking at Latin America as a very favorable next generation market. This time next year, we expect to be in areas such as Taiwan and South Korea as well. And guess what? This exact same chassis, like I said before, is already operating in those locations, whereas Ford isn't. Okay, so it makes sense for us to start with a vehicle that can actually be deployed globally, and then to start looking at very piecewise bespoke systems and requests. But we want to build things on a scale basis, so that means we need to control these technologies beyond just the dumb powertrains that go in them. So what we're doing is providing an entire platform. We've made these vehicles intelligent because we've added the intelligence that the data can provide through understanding what actually the motor is doing, the battery is doing, the system's doing at any given time. And we pull that technology up to a UI, essentially a single pane of glass, that first a customer internally, which is like one of our maintenance or service technicians, can use to make sure that the truck is operating and staying ahead of its duties and its requirements. And then secondly, as we continue to expand through other service centers and providers, it informs them with the same amount of information so that we don't have to build a global service network ourselves. We can actually tap into existing service centers like a franchise model. We can expose them to the CircularEV platform. They have all the data and intelligence that they need to be able to access these vehicles wherever they are, And not only that, but they end up able to support us in building those vehicles as well. We ship these kits essentially in a box to these existing service centers. We use partners like Motive and Merge to be able to upskill them to support how we can actually get them the right training required to install these components and systems. And then we monitor the performance and monitor the build of these systems using our CircularEV platform.
My name is Rick Reinhardt. I'm with Evolectric. I'm the chief architect of the company. We're here at the Lions Museum. This is an Isuzu 132-inch wheelbase NPR, and we also do the NRR for the heavier weights. And this vehicle will do 130 miles with the bigger battery pack. This is the first vehicle of this generation. It's the first time we've gone this short. Our Generation 2 vehicle is, we've done over 25 of those vehicles on the road today. They're on the 150 chassis that up to 176-inch wheelbase. So with this design, we had to move the packaging around to get it on the shorter wheelbase. So I can show you some of the features of the vehicle itself. Because it's a cab over, we are able to package things under the cab. And this cab does tilt up. So we're able to place our batteries, our control systems, our high voltage junction box here. We have a power steering motor up front to deal with the power steering that used to be diesel driven. So now it's electric driven. This vehicle also does level 2 charge, the CCS1 or CCS2. It will charge in an hour at most of the public sites. We have a level 2 charge also that will let us charge overnight. So 8 hours, you can do a full route, come in, park it overnight, and by the morning it's ready to go again. So this vehicle right now is on a work truck platform. Our majority of our vehicles are box trucks for mid-mile delivery. So we have customers like TCI, M&M Thrift. There's Gruppo Modelo in Mexico City that runs one of our trucks. And we're currently building for American Textile as well. The advantage of electric is there's a lot of grant money right now, so you could buy this whole truck for less than $20,000 with all the qualifying grants in California. The penny per mile is about less than a quarter of what you would pay if you were buying for diesel. So we're not buying diesel fuel, we're just buying electricity, and overnight charging is very, very cheap. There's no maintenance, no oil changes. The brakes, we use the regenerative braking to slow the vehicle down, so brakes life triple in life. So we have to do brake jobs. Maintenance-wise, it's almost non-existent. We rotate tires and occasional lube, check front end wear and things like that. Something that would normally be done on a regular maintenance schedule, but we don't have any expenses. Evolectric has two business models. We can take an existing vehicle. So the main target is a small fleet operator, a mom and pop operator that has a diesel NPR and RR that wants to go electric, or if there's a mandate to do electric, but they just can't afford the $180,000 price tag of a new Isuzu electric. So we can come in, take their vehicle, modify it, and give it back to them in a week, fully electrified. Or if they don't have one, we can get one out of the recycle, so we can get it very cheap. We can strip it down, put our system in it, and give it to the customer. And in that process, we'll refurbish the frame, we'll refurbish the suspension, new tires, new wheels. Inside of the truck is refurbished. We repaint it if necessary. We do all the Bondo or body work as necessary, and then give it to them, and it appears to be a new truck. All the design work is done in-house. So we're not designing motors, we're not designing batteries, we're buying off-the-shelf parts like that. But we package it, and then all our bracketry is designed in-house. How it gets packaged is designed in-house. How How the cable gets routed and built is all our design. And then we have our own software that does all the controls to make everything operate. And we can also do DC fast charge and bidirectional. So we can park our truck in a parking spot, hook it to a bidirectional DC charger, and then sell energy back to the grid.